Hello, and welcome everybody to Chalkcast episode number 83. I know you guys have been so patient in the chat, but we are finally
They're super patient.
here. Yeah, we are starting soon for about 11 minutes. Oh man, they were losing their minds for that one. But hey, we had a big weekend in RLCS this previous week, and the online season, has actually come to completion. It's over officially. There's no more online RLCS. It's only one major and one world championship left to go.
Yeah, we just snuck it into June, so we had to end the online season. We said that's too much. That's too much. Let's end it right there. The year's nearly over. It came up pretty quick. Obviously, two splits changes a few things, but we had a lot of action on the weekend. Not sure what you said, Rizzo. Can't stop thinking about League of Legends. Summer's Rift is on my mind. But we'll kick off today's episode with a little bit of OCE since I'm talking at the moment. OCE just finished. And yeah, there was the perfect season completed for Team Power. So congratulations to them.
That's actually very impressive. Because Torsos is a dinosaur and he's still competing at the highest level.
It's JNAPS of OCE. He's the same amount of lands. Both of them.
Isn't there? Oh, I saw something real quick. There's only 3 players who are competing in all 3 London events, and that's JNAPS and Torsos.
And Chicago as well.
What?
He was at the first one, I think, as well.
Was he?
No, he was season 6. He started.
Was it 6 he started? Wait, who played for
6
season
was
5?
Vegas.
Who played season 5 for the 4th identity?
Oh, I said 3 and then name 2. Okay, well, I meant 2.
It was EG.
There's only 2. I didn't know I said 3. There's only 2.
Classics. Who was their third?
Torment technically as well, but he's coaching now. But there were only 2
EG
who
was
played.
Chrome, Classics, and
Is it Corrupted G?
Corrupted G. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So then Chicago came season 6.
Chicago
Okay,
season 6.
So it's just JNAPS and Torsos who are at these ones.
Yep, massive effort. Anyway, back to OCE. Shout out to Tors, the absolute veteran. So the story going into this weekend was obviously Power going for 6 for 6, going for the perfect season, which they did complete very easily. They only dropped one. Well, they dropped a few games, but 4-1 was the closest anyone got to them. And the other story was who was going to get that second spot for the Major/Worlds. There was a couple of other teams coming into it. Pioneers were looking good. Chiefs were looking good for the Major because they got top 2 the previous 2 events. And then there was Pioneers as well that everyone saw in Copenhagen and Kib Gang, which I saw Cole and that on the EU pre-show going, it's great to see these other teams that aren't like Ground Zero, but Kib Gang is basically the gentlemates of OCE. That's the former Gus, formerly on Chiefs and stuff. It's kind of the leftovers of the top team. So the clear 4th team. And that was sort of the story. Who's going to get that second spot? And it ended up being the Chiefs, albeit they got swept in the semi-final by Pioneers. So they only made top 4. Their top 2 in the first 2 events had done enough to make London. But now they need to go 2 and 3 in the Swiss to make
Minimum.
Worlds. Minimum.
So it's
So
actually,
Not specifically 2 and 3. They're not throwing around 5 to really nail that 2 and 3. They just need minimum.
Yeah.
they can go 3 and 2 is what you're saying.
they need at least
can make it out of
2
Swiss,
wins,
yeah.
which would be really hard, to be honest. I mean, we'll talk about the Major towards the end of the show, but it's very tough when SSA is EU number 5 or EU number 25, depending on how you want to rank that team. But yeah, OCE action, it was Power and Pioneers in the grand final. Power just looked so good. Big T, the veteran of OCE, still at the top. They were pretty funny in the interview as well. They always Torsos just like, I don't know, everyone's just so bad. Like I've got 100 hours past 2 weeks. Everyone's trying to beat me on 30 hours past 2. Like just play the game and practice.
Oh, is he roasting the work ethic?
Yeah, a bit of a roasting the work. He does work hard, Tors. Like he's had 100 plus hours for, I don't know, 7 and nearly 8, probably 8 years now coming on.
But surely when it matters, he can't be like the top hours in Rocket League, is he? He must be taking some breaks.
Well, I get.
Maybe he is
no,
top hours.
he's always on. Like it's ridiculous. Yeah,
Has he got more hours than Joyo? Joyo's got a lot.
Well, probably because he's
We
been
need to find
around.
out.
Yeah, you'd have to have more hours than Joyo, I'd say, because he's.
I never.
performed.
What's his name on Steam is always something ridiculous. So I've searched Tarsos foolishly
I'll
expecting him to
find
pop
it.
up.
I'll find
What's
it.
he called right now? Yeah, he tweeted after winning, "Perfect seasoned by me, lol. I'd be embarrassed." I
There you
love
go.
it. He's just
That's a great tweet.
he won he got every event in first place, and he's just mocking the rest of the region, kicking them all while they're down under his boots. Phenomenal stuff by Torsos.
They're also boot camping now, so
Already?
they've just
Wow.
left.
Wow.
I
Oh, they
bel-
just left.
they're-
Okay.
I think they're from the 6 onwards. They're trying to get scrims, but
What,
they were leaving
are they
today.
getting the boat over here? Where have they left already? This is insane. They're
Yeah,
coming out.
they'd already booked it because they're already locked in. So
Ah,
yeah, they were straight after they
Yes.
won the regional. Pretty much. See you later.
his currently name
Where
is
is he?
Kick Him on Steam.
Is it?
Okay, maybe I probably I don't have him. I've probably removed him at
Oh, no,
some
it's
point.
just
He
Torsos
changes
right
his
now.
name all the time. Okay, I don't have him anymore. Maybe he removed me, but he changes. When I used to have him, he used to change his name all the time. So I probably ended up one day having a full list and being like, "Who's this?"
How many
guy?
hours does Joyo
Removed.
have?
I think Giles got 16,000. He said.
Yeah,
between
Torsos has
PS4.
15,357 on that account.
Joy
But
has
Torsos plays
16,000.
plays on his Smurf probably 50% of like the time I see him in ranked, he's on his Smurf as
Really?
well. So he's got 15,500 on his main account.
On the
and I think he's
main.
got like 2 Smurfs. So
Wow.
Oh
Yeah,
my
Joel
God.
Joel said he's
Okay.
got like 16K because he just he paid between PS4 and Steam. I think he's got like 16 or something.
Okay. That makes. Hold on.
yeah, Tors might be the
Well,
most played
that's
player in the
insane.
world then. If he's
On Rocket
Damn,
League and
okay,
Steam,
I didn't-
Joyo has 13.3K.
I didn't know the hours. Like, I don't know. I just forgot or didn't think about it. But the hours actually did get that high. Like, I'm looking at Garrett's right now. He's just at almost 16K as well on Rocket League. He's 15.8. I don't know.
What are you at, Rizzo? You've hidden your hours a long time ago, obviously.
Okay, let me
to,
check.
You know,
I'm at about 10.6. I have like 500 hours on another account, so 10.6.
okay, 10.6. Well, you got 500 hours on another account.
Yeah. Okay. This is. I'll make the story quick. But you remember in like season 1 or probably like one of the very early seasons where there was like this crazy stuttering bug. On accounts. On specific
I don't remember
accounts.
it, but I believe you
Well,
though.
I'll tell you why you don't remember it, and you're gonna not like the answer. They ended up figuring out. Psyonix fixed it. I gave them my account to fix it. I gave them my main. I was like, just fix it, and I put on another account for like 500 hours. But it was a bug for a long
Yeah.
time. And the reason why people were lagging is because, again, I'm sorry, Johnny. They had too many Steam friends.
Yeah, not enough friends. I knew it was gonna be not
Yeah,
enough friends, bro.
Yeah,
I knew it.
it was a Steam friend issue. If you had too many friends,
Didn't
you
have
would
enough
start
friends.
stuttering a bunch. And so they ended up fixing it. They realized what the mistake was. And they fixed it.
Mr.
And then-
Popular.
And as soon as I I added everybody in ranked, bro. If I played with somebody, I was like, that was awesome. Let me add you. Cool play.
Yeah, see, I didn't have that problem because I hated all my teammates. So I never added anyone. But
Yeah, Rocket League's a little pure for me at the very beginning stages, so I added so many people.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's funny. But to bring it back to OCE, yeah, Torsos, insane grind. He's just perfect, swept the entire season in his, what will this be now? He's been around since season 3, the first
Yeah,
season
his
that OCE
17th
could
season.
compete.
His 17th season is crazy.
17th season.
Yeah.
That is crazy. Wait, is it 17th split? It can't be 17th season.
It's not
Must be
17th season.
No, I didn't.
Rizzo
Made that
just
up.
threw a number.
Johnny
He just
just
threw
make
a
that up?
number out there. So you went with it.
I was
though.
like,
Got
wait a
him.
minute.
Well,
No, for some
7
reason
since
in my
X,
head
and
you
then
said 17, and I was thinking
probably like
you were counting
10.
doubles for like the recent ones because they're longer. But it's
20 or
like 10 or something.
maybe 9. Yeah, 9 or 10. He's yeah, the work ethic goes to show hard work beats talent. Not saying he's not talented, but continued hard work.
No, you just say that Tarsos
pretty
is
sure
proof
that's what I
that even someone who's got.
I mean, he's a KBM player, so he doesn't have talent. You have to work at it if you're a keyboard mouse player. You don't just
I
pick
would
it up
argue
and-
you need more talent to be a KBM player, more APM. You can't just move
yeah,
your
sure,
thumb a
buddy,
little
sure,
bit to
buddy.
steer. You gotta.
I think you've just got to
tap the
work
button a
harder
bunch.
to do a similar thing. Like you do have more APM, but you have to work. Like it's harder to do stuff on keyboard mouse. I think you got to
more
work harder
actions per
to do it.
minute. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, credit to them. Credit to Power and Chiefs. That'll be interesting to see in London. I think they're going to boot camp for a week or something. I heard, but I'm not too sure. But then APAC.
By the way,
Yep.
one thing before we move on from OCE. So in case people are worried that it was because sometimes in OCE a team does just get massively unlucky and they dodge power, or they get on the power side of the bracket every event and they come third. Because another team managed to dodge that side of the bracket, but that didn't happen every event this split to Chiefs. They did end up losing this one to Pioneers, but in the one before this, they beat Pioneers. So they both Pioneers and them beat each other once each in the playoffs. And then the reason that Chiefs have gotten farther is because they in the one other event they didn't get the power side of the bracket. So they've gone 1-1 with Pioneers, and I think given Pioneers had an attempt at a major already, it's it's fair enough. I think if Chiefs go to London and they go 2-3, I think they probably deserve Worlds because Pioneers only got 1-3 in Swiss. So I don't think Pioneers would be too upset about it. They've given themselves the best chance after coming into this weekend. They're thinking, okay, we got to beat these guys at least this one.
Well, the crazy part about it, Johnny, is that they kicked or benched Fiberr for this weekend and played with their coach Mock, who's a former professional. Like, he's a pro as well, but he's been coaching because he hasn't had a team. So, like, we're just going to play with Mock and see what happens. And they just honeymooned and 4-0'd Chiefs in the semi-final.
I don't know what is going on with it. Do you have any idea what's going on with that? Because they could still make Worlds. Like Amphis, Super Lucky, and Fiberr could still make Worlds if Chiefs don't go 2-3 or better in Swiss and London. So what is going on? Why are they benching Fiberr?
I think we're just a very sensitive region. You look at sort of EU and sometimes in NA as well. We talk to teams at Lance, Johnny, and they're like, "Oh, we're screwed. We hate each other." They'll be like the coach or something. "Oh, we're done after this," and then they'll just like win the event or get top 2 or top 4 or something out of nowhere. Whereas I think in OCE, if people don't like each other, they just kick each other or bench. And no, I'm not saying that it was a like thing. I think what Fiberr said it was just like they couldn't really see eye to eye on certain like a play style or stuff like that. Obviously, they were doing replays and they just couldn't like agree on some certain things. So they brought in the coach who clearly was on, I guess, the majority, super locking whatever side in terms of how they wanted to play or something, and bench Fiberr. So I guess they've got time to work it out if they do make Worlds. In terms of bringing back Fiberr, or maybe they'll play with Mock. They can take them all because you can take 4 players, and that's the coach as well. So we'll see what happens. But I think OCE for a lot of it is, I think we're a little bit too buddy with a lot of our roster moves and stuff like that, rather than just trying to make the best team.
So you're saying you don't like it, CJ? You're kind of beating around the bush a little bit.
Oh no, I hate that. I think it's who subs in it?
No, I mean like the Fiberr that you don't like the. You want them. What do you think now? What do they do now? Because obviously it worked with Mock. So what's the play? At Worlds, so they make it. Which, by the way, they're still favorites to make Worlds at this point, because it is expected that Chiefs will not go 2-3 because the event is just so stacked. Going 2-3 is really hard. You're gonna need to beat a really good team. Well, you're gonna need to beat one of the top 11 teams of the event, obviously. And there's like 9 teams of the event who look like they could win it, and then you've also got Space Station Gaming and OG. So that's very very hard to and Secret and Twisted Minds. Like the list is ridiculous. You got so many teams. So what do you think, CJ? What do they do?
I think Fiberr's definitely a better player. Like, anyone will tell you that. But I think it kind of works. Mox kind of plays that support kind of role. You got Super Lucky and Amphis who just want to go ball, be on the ball and stuff. So it actually it did work on the weekend, having just a bit more of a guy that's happy to chill and just support, facilitate. Kind of like our Tox. He was mentioning that in his interview as well. On that team, how he's just able to just let them kind of do whatever they want, let Atomic pop off and let the Lunar Galaxy boys do their thing. So it's kind of a similar thing for Pioneers. I don't know, they'll work it out. I'm sure they can scrim. They can do a 4-man roster and boot camp for Worlds and see what happens. But that's pretty much the OCE news. Be exciting to see them in London.
And then, like I said, APAC, you were going to switch to APAC, so let's do it. Let's talk about APAC. There's been a conclusion that we have a Worlds confirmation and London Major confirmation, and it is Gladiators. They beat Elevate. In fact, they destroyed them. So it's a pretty weird split in APAC. It's the first event that happened. We actually talked about this when it did happen. Qualifier 4, Elevate had a problem where they couldn't get Sphinx into the lobby, and they lost 2 games by default. They forfeited 2 games in the grand final against Gladiators. Then they just won 4 straight. They dominated. So everybody's thinking, hold on, maybe they're just going to win this. But credit to Gladiators. Events 5 and 6, they won them both. They beat Elevate in both of them. It was close in the last one, 4-2. Well, I say that there was one of the games. Rizzo, did you hear about this? One of the games ended 12-6 in favor of Gladiators. A game.
No,
in the grand
I
final.
never heard about that.
Yeah, the game was 12-6. That's the actual score for that game. Gladiators scored 12 times, and then they swept them in the most recent event. So Gladiators, the team who do look a bit stronger on paper, did win it.
Wait, what? Is that like do you know how high that is on like one of the highest scoring RLCS?
It's got to be all-time like number 1. I can't think of another I can't think of another scoreline that's higher than that, but if somebody knows one, let us know. But 12-6 for one game, that's the highest scoreline I can remember for especially
Wait,
a
where
modern
is it? You said in the
Rocket League.
finals. Was the finals?
Grand final, Elevate versus
Grand final.
Gladiators. Elevate is Zombie Poop Sharks
The
new
poop.
team with. He joined up with Kevin and Sphinx, who
Wait,
played
in
with
this,
LCT.
in this recent one? That's not what Wikipedia is saying.
Nah,
It's,
second last.
it's
Number
five.
five.
Okay.
Yeah, Kevin, Sphinx, and ZPS, and then Gladiators, of course, picked up Tho in place of Realize, and they've got Virtuoso and Maxi.
Oh my god!
So-
I see it.
There it is, 12-6. So, really weird play. I mean, after, I guess they figured them out. You could pinpoint the moment in the season where they figured them out and really started to dominate them.
Yeah.
Because Elevate won 6 of the first 7 games they played against Gladiators, and then Gladiators won 7 in a row. And that is the moment I'd say where they figured them out.
Meta.
Turned the season around. But yeah,
Hopefully.
are you guys happy about that? The 2/3 import team is now the APAC representative for London and Worlds, instead of the 1/3 import team.
I like it. I think more so. It should be 2/3. I think if there were ever to be a ruling, like it should at the minimum.
Oh no, by
be
2/3 I
1/3.
mean they are 2/3 imports.
Oh, 2/3
they're going-
imports.
Yeah, because Vart and Tho are both imports. The team with 2/3 imports,
Oh.
so 1/3 APAC being MaxU wins,
Yeah,
and Elevate,
no,
who
I
have
mean,
2 local,
It's
they're not going.
like I'll just say it's not as bad as to say. If anything, if there was a ruling change, like that should be the bare minimum. So like I'm okay with it. Like I would prefer a full APAC team, always. I think, or like a full regional team. But I don't think we're gonna get that. So
Well, Vert's basically
does
APAC
Does
now.
Vart qualify now? He's been there for a
Yeah.
season, second season in APAC. Does he just
does he
get to
live
be an
there?
APAC
Is
player
he like
now?
perma resident?
Well, he's been.
I don't know if he stays there during the off season or if he did stay there during the off season.
You only need to be there for 6 weeks, so I don't know if you'd live there for the other 46.
Well, that's what I mean.
True.
Because you're able to go, like you have that opportunity to go and get like solid practice, then come back. So it's like it's a little different in my mind of being able to just like go play EU, even though maybe your servers all get DDoS, but like
Yeah,
besides that
he's
point-
not a resident.
Yeah.
He's just been renting and Airbnb and whatnot there. So
I mean, you can be a
Um,
resident while renting if you're staying
That's
a long
true.
time. I think like the Vart situation is interesting because obviously when he went over there, he had one APAC player on his team in Realize, and then he had an OCE player in Cami on his team. We talked about that in the last episode, and it's like more of a, it's closer to how it should be than the SSA situation by a landslide. So, yeah, if rules ever came out to limit, hopefully next season rules do limit the amount of import talent you can have. Hopefully it'll be a 2/3 rule. But okay, one question I have for you guys: how long does somebody have to be in the region before they can be one of those 2/3? Because I know in League of Legends it's
so
3
like-
years, right?
like imagine like Jack or literally Vert
Yeah, Jack or Vart. They're in their second
Well, I
season.
think you
Dolly,
would just,
second
like,
season.
grandfather clause sort of thing, where like if you were like when the rule is in place, if you were already
Yep.
playing in that region, then it's like fair game. And then
Yeah. Oh, I think for them it's fair. But for the future, what would the duration be? 2 seasons, 1 season? What do you guys think would be a smart number?
Wait, like if they play for 2 seasons, then they would be considered APAC, like Vert if he played.
Yeah,
for 2
I
seasons?
like
for
2
the-
seasons.
For the rule, so the way it works in League of Legends, I believe, after like if you're a non-NA player and you get brought into an NA team, they are only allowed to do that with 2 players. But if those 2 players play 3 seasons, they suddenly gain NA
NA
player status.
playership.
Playership, yeah, and then you can bring in another 2. So
Okay, I
yeah,
didn't
2 seasons.
know that, to
maybe.
be honest. That's
I think that's how it is. And League of Legends is obviously a bit of a longer career than Rocket League. Historically, Rocket League's a bit faster.
I never thought about that. I would honestly assume that the way it would be is just like Vert is an EU player because like that's where his like citizenship is, but it makes so much more sense. I would
At
say
some point, after
probably
you've been in
after
this ecosystem
two
for a while.
seasons.
2 complete
Yeah.
seasons, like it's
Two
probably you're probably
seasons.
good.
Yeah, I like that. Otherwise, it would just be like, yeah, 1 season they bring in someone, the next season it's another player. Oh, and would you look at that? The next season they've gotten rid of the last the local player. It would be a really an actual investment for 2 seasons. Yeah, give us 2/3 and 2 seasons
100%.
next season. But yeah, in the meantime, Gladiators, who are 1/3 APAC, and Vert, who is on his way to gaining our 2-season APAC status that we're talking about. They're going to be at London, and they made Worlds as well by a single point already. They've qualified by 1 point, which is brutal.
We'll talk about it in a
over
second, but no wild card is just starting to hurt.
Yeah, we'll talk about that with the context of EU, but yeah, I miss Wildcard and the regional points battle after seeing teams like Shopify Rebellion and NA, after seeing teams like NIP and SAM and Complexity as well, Team Secret. There's a bunch of teams in SAM. You got Luna Galaxy. I think one of Oxygen and KC is not going to be at Worlds. It's another crazy one. If Oxygen makes the grand final in London, then KC aren't at Worlds. And if Oxygen are eliminated before the grand final, then Oxygen aren't at Worlds. So yeah, that's where we really miss Wildcard. Teams like that not even having a chance.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a bit expected, like for Oxygen, obviously to not make Worlds. Basically, just how their season has gone thus far. But I think, like, I think they deserve it. Like, maybe not deserve is the right word, but I would love to see them. You know, I would love to see the 5 EU teams like go at it, because I think Oxygen is like of that caliber to be able to win. I think it's a much lower chance than some of the other teams, but it's definitely not unfathomable that they could win.
It's insane. I was just thinking, you know, how it's a shame we don't have 5 spots as well, I guess.
It really
was
sucks.
it 6 for
like
EU?
The team change, like the amount of teams just sucks. Like,
yeah,
it feels so much worse to know that there's like like the cutoff is so much smaller, and it's because we had it before. Like, if it was always 4 teams, it'd be like, that's the way it
took
was.
it away.
But when you go backwards on it, it just feels bad.
Yeah, and I get why they would do it for this season, because they did need to get SSA in. If you take away one of EU and NA, then it doesn't make sense to keep the other one. I mean, a lot of people say give EU a spot and leave NA at 4, but I don't see them ever doing that. I don't think they're ever going to give NA less spots than EU. I just don't see it. But I tweeted the other day, because I was trying to make, after this event, after every round of qualifiers, I've been putting out the global power rankings. Well, completely according to me, just in my opinion.
Is that like weekly or bi-weekly?
Sometimes I would do weekly if there was like a really interesting situation, but mostly bi-weekly. So I put one out. But as I was doing it, I realized, like, this is actually insane. I was doing top 10s initially at the start of the season. Then I some teams were dropping out, and I wanted to do top 15 sometimes to show where they ended up, right? This time I was like, I've got to do a top 20. There's so many insane teams after this last round of qualifiers that I want to have in the rankings. So it's crazy. I feel like we need 20 team majors, 20 team worlds again. Well, we're never had it for majors, but yeah, we need 20 teams.
Technically, what they did was with Worlds is, if you look at the scheduling, they basically still had the wild card, but they turned that into the Fortnite World Championships instead, because the venue's there for 2 weeks. So it's still the same length as if we had wildcard into Worlds. We just have Fortnite Worlds into main event.
They could still have it. Like, I don't even care. Like, do it at the Fortnite World Championship. Just have it a little subsection in the back. Like, I don't care. Just stream the game. That's all that matters, you know?
Just get some PCs up or something.
Don't even need a stage. Just do it like a DreamHack. Who cares?
Do you guys like having... You prefer having more teams at majors and then the Worlds being more of an exclusive thing, or having like more teams at Worlds, like Worlds being the big? Do you know what I mean? Like having the quality.
I know
what
you mean. The conversation has come up a few times with social media, or Reddit's talked about that. I think T-Bates likes the smaller Worlds thing. I think I've discussed it with him before. I don't like the smaller Worlds. I think Worlds should be the most teams. It should have every region. I think Worlds should be bigger. It should be the biggest event. Should have more teams, or at least the same amount of teams as majors, and every region should be there. A lot of people, in my Twitch chat, and social media, and I think T-Base also said this as well. A lot of people think that it shouldn't. Not every region should be at Worlds. Worlds should just be the teams who are good and have a chance to win the event. I completely disagree with that. I think that every region should be represented at Worlds. I think that
'Cause it's called
Worlds should be
Worlds.
the biggest. Yeah, it's Worlds.
And
Inclusion in the
also,
name.
I don't want to keep talking about it, but all I can think about is League of Legends. I mean, how good is that? They have multiple venues. Like they have a separate like venue for the grand finals for like the final
For
shebang.
each, like,
Yeah, they've got
for each
each
regional,
stage has a
essentially?
different. I think it's each stage. I think has a different like venue, sort of like play-ins. That we're doing it here, and now we're going over here for this
yeah,
event.
but I mean, cool, because you're saying like we even went to LCK, like we went to the Korean finals.
Yeah,
We did,
but
yeah.
no, not even that. I think even Worlds like itself has a different venue for the grand finals.
It's like for
they-
different stages, they have a different venue. Well,
Oh,
the
Yeah,
grand
they've got,
final
right.
is
like
in a bigger
Wildcard is a
place,
different
bigger.
venue, and then like Top X is
Group
this, and then
stage, yeah, top
top four is a
playoffs,
different-
semis,
I don't know.
then
I
the
don't
grand
know
final.
if the Rocket League audience would.
I'm not saying we need that. I'm just saying that's how
Okay, okay.
grand it is. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
how
yeah.
that's how big. It's not just like let's just
Well-
have the best 8 teams in one spot and no one else. Like
I
it's
just think it's a money.
I've
so
got an
many
idea.
teams coming from
Well,
everywhere.
I don't
I've-
even know if
I've
it's
got
an
an
issue. It's
idea.
a money complaint.
I've
Yeah.
got they would definitely be expensive, but I've got an idea that so the problem or the difference, maybe it's not even a problem, it's just a difference. The difference with Rocket League and League of Legends is the League of Legends grand final takes all day. Like we went to the LCK one, that was 6 hours or something, maybe more,
Yeah, yeah.
because there's game one, you know, you got
Well,
the
if it
champ
goes to
select,
5,
and you've got like the first game, then a break, and then another Destiny, then another game one, champ select, game 2. It takes a long time if it goes to game 5. But Rocket League doesn't have that. You just have one build up, best of 7, and congratulations, we've got the winner. That's it. You can't really turn that into a whole day. You need more. So 2 ways you could do that. One of them would be like World's top 4 could be that whole day. That would just be 3 matches. That's your day. That's one massive venue for just the top 4. Smaller venue for like the previous stage top 8 or whatever. But my favorite way to do it would actually be to have like an RLCS 2v2 circuit, RLCS 1 circuit, and then of course the big RLCS 3 circuit, and do all the grand finals on the same day, the last day. Imagine it would just be like grand final, grand final, grand final. That's your day. And that's an event you could sell out to a bigger venue. It's like the Rocket League World Championship grand finals for all 3 game modes, one after another. You could do like, some little halftime show or whatever if you want to make it a little bit longer. Some other
Little Chalk
special
Castle's
initial
first touch
match.
show match or something.
Little
Yeah.
chalk-ass in there. I don't
A
know.
nice little 3-0 sweep in there for the podcast battle. But
4-0 for best of
that's
7.
yeah, I think that would work because then you could turn it into like a multi-week event where you got the wildcard stage for 3s, and then you could do your group stage. Your early what is it called, the playoff top 8 in one place. It would just make it into a bigger, grander thing than having. Right now we have so many teams in the last day. I think it's 6 teams make it to the last day of competition. It's quite a lot, and it makes. It's still a grand thing, but it would.
What about that Ford freestyle halftime show?
That's
Yeah,
kind of nice. We need to
exactly.
bring that back.
Honestly,
need to-
though, look, honestly,
100%.
not a bad idea. I think you get a freestyle who's never been on stage, that sort of, it requires intense mechanics, all that stuff. You're probably gonna get him a little nervous, but the idea was there and it was pretty good.
I mean,
Hopefully they do
was it
some sort of halftime thing this time around?
I
was it
think
the idea or was it the cha-ching, cha-ching freestyle
Okay, I
halftime
mean,
show?
yeah, I'm sure Ford
come
was
on.
like,
I don't
yeah,
think.
get the freestylers.
No,
I don't
okay.
think they're like we need
I say-
freestyling at Worlds.
No, freestyling at Worlds could work. I think they need to change the way it's scored though, because right now you win a freestyle competition in Rocket League by hitting the sickest shot. That's how you win. You just oh, that guy hit the sickest shot, you win. But if they change it to
Quantity.
you got 10 rounds against someone, and like round 1, who hits the sickest shot, you got two tries, 3 tries, no, some limited amount of tries, and that's
Yeah.
like the score is 1-0 instead of like a score at 50. It would just be like everybody just votes on which shot was better. Okay, 1-0. Just make it best of 7 or whatever, and you're just doing rounds, because then it would be more easy to watch and follow, and it wouldn't be as
Rather than one goal in
subjective.
10 minutes, and we're just like waiting
Yeah,
for
it's
someone to
just like-
set like a clip up,
Yeah,
Just-
yeah. It's just like, all right, yep, that guy missed. I know that guy missed. I know that guy missed,
I
because they know they just have to hit the sickest shot of all time, and that's not gonna. You can't just pull that. You can't pull the absolute sickest shot ever out on demand. You
I'd
can
rather watch,
lower the skill
some-
cap a little bit and hit a really sick shot.
I'd rather watch some Johnny Shako jungle gameplay in the halftime
No, that-
show than to watch that
I
Ford
can pull-
freestyler again.
On demand, I can pull out some top
The
plays like
sickest
every.
shit. Go play you've
with
ever seen.
IRL comms, like, so you see what I did there? They thought I was the decoy. Oh, you got me. Just kidding.
Oh no, I'm
Whoa.
dead.
Oh.
Psych.
I have to listen for all League of Legends enjoyers. I have to calm which one of me is the real Shaco because they want my teammates aren't gonna know. You know.
Oh my
they're
god,
not
he's
gonna
dead.
know.
I gotta go.
I'm like, nobody go in. That's not me.
Wait, John, you know it says clone above your head, right?
No, people like how many times have
okay.
you guys said, "Oh, I didn't even know which one was I didn't even know that was a
I
clone."
would never.
Like,
I mean, to be fair, I was playing
Not that-
Shen,
my
so
top
like
lane.
I have to know which one's you.
Yeah, true.
If I fuck up and ult the clone, it's horrible.
I don't know. Can you even help the clone of Shen? That would be class.
yeah,
This is
That'd
going
be
to
true.
this is a dangerous
Yeah,
subtopic
dangerous
because
day,
we
yeah,
could
we
be
would go
here
for 10
all
hours.
day. Look, we might play some lab. Might stream a bit of league so you guys can see what's going on, what we're getting up to. As soon as we
quick
end the stream.
sidebar. Is that something you guys want to see? Chalkcast gaming, like on the side,
Us playing different games.
like different direction.
You know damn well that'd
we
only
could-
be League of Legends.
Worms World Party. Pummel
Chalk
Party.
gaming. We
Mario
could play
Party.
we could play some other games. I think we could experiment. That might be something we could look into. But anyway, yeah. RLCS.
Phasmophobia. Oh,
Currently, we
boy.
only have 16 team at Worlds. It's sad. Do you guys? Well, Rizzo, what are your thoughts on Wildcard and the lack of it this season? CJ and I hate it, but what do you reckon?
I mean, I also hate it. I think there needs to be a wildcard. It's mainly the. I mean, NA probably has a team in there that I would probably like to see as well, but I think it's mainly like Oxygen. Oxygen is like the big one, where like if Oxygen was able to make it to that and then qualify through wildcard, like that would be I think it'd be a big plus. The fact that that team doesn't have a chance and like wildcard, I think like to Oxygen and Oxygen's. I don't know. Compared to like their placements or whatever, like it's pretty easy for Oxygen to make it through wildcard. So it makes sense that they would also be able to be at the World Championship to me, even if like it does. It's like it gets rid of one region spot in a way, like an indirect way, but at least they get the chance to play at the wild card and then not make it through. You know what I mean? Like say like SSA for APAC, for example. If they lose in wild card, at least they went to the wild card and played, and then Oxygen.
But
takes the
also, what
spot
if they
instead
make
of just
it?
taking
You
the
know,
spot.
I'm a dreamer. I'm a
Yeah,
dreamer.
sure.
I want to see the story. I dream big. I swept Optic Gaming. Those guys sucked.
Yeah.
Put those guys in their place.
Tell them.
In the wild card, and you get the storylines. You get to make it through to the main event. It's something for the little guys to hold on to. And you did get to see how beautiful was it watching. We had SSA versus
Realize.
APAC. Getting a win. Those guys going off on the wildcard stage, and the wildcard was cool back at Dickie's Arena a couple of years ago because it felt like very intimate as well. It was obviously wasn't in the main arena, but it was kind of had like dream hacky sort of vibes, and you had like SSA versus APAC, some other games. There was still some bangers in there. I think we had was it G2. Oh, maybe that was actually the start of the main event. I remember watching G2 Furia. I want to say was out in that wildcard area, and that was a sick series to watch. Like intimate. That was a massive crowd. Comparatively, we weren't in the big stadium, but yeah. The wildcard section was sick, so I think you've got to give the little guys a chance rather than just saying no, like the T-bait angle of no. Well, these guys can't win it, so let's just have the teams that are a chance. Let's just have only the 8 teams in the world that I think can win worlds, because I think that's not fun. That's
honestly, I think the wildcard is probably one of the best things of last season. I mean, I liked their change from going to individual majors into worlds sort of thing. But I think the wild card was like just the greatest spectacle. I know it's like a small
cool.
five. I mean, obviously the World Championship is great, right? But that's expected. That's completely expected. But the wild card is like having the opportunity, exactly like what CJ said, of like having the dreamers out there. It's like, we have a chance. Like all these teams are in the wild card. Like we can beat them. All that stuff. It just gives them the opportunity to actually be able to qualify. And like if they didn't qualify, at least they had the chance. It's not about like. Just like taking the spot away and giving it to EU or NA or whatever. I mean, usually those are the common ones, but even Sam, like even John said in chat, like Sam is an incredible region that just, they only have 2 spots. And it's like all 4. I mean, the Sam top 4 could easily compete in a wild card and even like World Championship.
Also,
Well, they all made Worlds last season. It's the same players. Like
yeah,
Fury
Yeah.
Complexity went back to South America, but Crew, TS, and NIP all made top 16 Worlds last season. Then you put Complexity Fury in the mix. Now, actually, Sam this season contained 5 teams that went top 16 at Worlds last season. Stacked, absolutely stacked.
the Elevate G1 was crazy watching Realize. He was in tears after that. Like just seeing like that stuff was really cool. But also, John made a good point as well. It made regions band together because the better your region did, the more points you got, the more, you could get an extra spot for the wild card during the season at the majors and things like that. Now everyone's just out to get each other, with Oxygen going to the major. If this was previously, you'd have like Lunar Galaxy hoping EU does really well so they get a 6th spot. Another one for the wild card, stuff like that. It just had that extra element of, well, if, we kind of either want this team to do really bad or really well, because if they do really well, then we get a spot. If they do really bad, we might qualify.
You know what
cool
KC
watching.
should be doing? KC should be trying to organize as many scrims as possible with Oxygen and just like trolling them all and like just messing
Sabotage.
with them. Sabotage their practice. But no, they're probably, I doubt they're going to do that, but they should be scrimming other teams that are not Oxygen. Whereas in last season's, EU fighting for more spots in Worlds situation, they would have been quite happy to see Oxygen doing well because it would have guaranteed that they go along as well. It'd be like, nice, now we go along with you. But right now, Casey's not motivated to help Oxygen at all. The team in their own region, they just want to help everybody else. Like they'll be scrimming all of Oxygen's competition, helping them all prepare to make sure that Oxygen, the team from their own region, don't win and overtake them. The regional kind of, I guess, camaraderie is gone in this format. You don't want other teams in your region to do well anymore. You just want them all to fail, which is kind of weird. I prefer to when all the NA teams were, banding together and rooting for each other. It's just, it doesn't make sense to me. If I imagine, Rise just pulls up to RLCS in London and he's watching and he's like hoping that Oxygen his country
rooting against Joyo. That just doesn't look
just weird, right? It's like, why is that a thing that he's motivated by the format to do when he's not actively participating against him? Obviously they are competitors, but yeah, hopefully we can get that back. It was so fun to see the region points battle. It actually came down to the wire every time as well. Spring major, there was still a scenario like on the final the final event both seasons.
Yeah, to sum up as well, I don't know if we actually talked about the EU results. BDS going back to back, aren't they looking fantastic? Lunar Galaxy, I tell you, it was a weird top 4. We had Lunar Galaxy and Jobless in a semi-final against each other. It was absolute chaos. There was a time where we were pretty close to nearly not having any French teams in the top 4. We could have done if Endpoint got the win, and obviously Oxygen, they lost in Game 6 against K-Corp. But yeah, it was a crazy event.
Yeah, Jobless beat Vitality in 7. Lunar Galaxy beat Gentlemates in 5. They absolutely smoked them. And then Lunar Galaxy just looked really good. They took BDS to 7 in the final. I was super impressed by Lunar Galaxy. They just looked like another team who could definitely make a deep run at like an international level. But what is it? What is it about Atomic? This guy, I swear, every season he just pulls up, gets mental numbers, then misses Worlds or like messes up, doesn't quite get there. His best event that he's had so far was technically the Winter Major last season, where they qualified, but then they went 0-3, I think, or was it 1-2 in groups? I think they went 1-2 in groups. They had a bit of a disaster class, so they're just never quite able to put it together. But Tox has he's got one of the saddest stories when it comes to international events, because in the last 3 seasons where there have been LANs, if you look at the rankings back in last season and the one before, you needed top 5 to make LANs, and this season you need top 4. He came 5th in both of the splits this season, so he missed it by 1 spot. And I'm fairly certain that he's missed out by 1 spot a whole bunch of other times as well. I'll pull it up and check, but this guy, he cannot stop missing international events by a single placement all the way back to...
But he was at Worlds and did lose to Realize.
Not Tox. Not Tox. That was Atomic.
Oh, sorry, talking about Atomic. Oh, sorry, I didn't talk about Atomic peaking. Tox gets close. He was at Gamers 8. He's good at non-RLCS events. Showing up for those.
In 2021, 22 fall, he came 6th, so he missed the land by 1 spot. In the next split, where did he go? Where was Tux in the winner split? Because I know he was in Evil Geniuses, but then did he make that one? That was the one that he made, didn't he? Catalysm, Ivan and Tux.
Mm.
They made one land, didn't they? The winter.
They were at
major?
LA. Yep. That
Oh,
was
no,
the
did he
first game in
leave?
LA.
No, he didn't
that was
leave the team by then.
Was that Rizex?
Yeah, it was Rizix. It was Rizix. Man, this guy is so unfortunate. Yeah, he was in Luminosity and they missed it by 1 spot again. Unbelievable.
Oh
He
my
missed it by
God.
1 spot again. And then last season he was on Evil Geniuses, missed it by 2 spots the first split. German Amigos, I believe he missed it by 1 spot in the next split. And then he was on last split of last season. Missed it by a few spots actually because Hogan mode went nuclear and kind of stole that away. Oh, he missed it by 2 spots. He was in PSG Tundra. This guy, he misses it by 1 or 2 every time. He's never made an RLCS LAN.
That's,
sort of
that's
at Rizex.
motivation right there.
It's sort of about Rizex talking about him, that series where it just kept boom. Have you guys seen that Joe Rogan meme when he's like, "You can hit hard like this, but I can hit harder like this"? Have you seen that meme?
No.
The one where he's doing he's kicking a heavy bag.
I
I've
can
seen
hit
that.
harder like this. Fucking boom! Have you not seen that when he's elbow? Oh my god. I can't believe you haven't seen that. It's so funny. That reminds me of Rizex just smashing the ball. Like, you can hit hard like this, but I can hit harder like this. He's like, fucking boom.
Wait, so
Which,
what does,
yeah,
what does this have to do with Rizex?
Oh, he had a series where he was just booming the ball.
Oh, okay.
Like
Yeah,
as hard
CJ
as
and I
he
were
could.
casting, and Rizix, he kept on like absolutely leather. I don't know if he didn't do it like a huge amount, but really it was a nothing series we were watching kind of, and at one point he absolutely slaughtered the ball into the back corner wall, just went up for it and blasted it again a second time. And me and CJ watching this sarcastic, we were just like, what? He's just absolutely booming the ball. And after that, he did just start booming the ball for a couple of games before calming down, getting like, even when he didn't mean to, he'd boom it. Which we had a lot of fun with. I mean, we were enjoying his strategy of just blasting every touch, which is a viable strategy, in fact, when used in moderation. But yeah, some people don't like it. They thought we were making fun of him and that we should stop because we're bullying a pro player, CJ, for booming the ball too much.
Well, there was actually I think there was a Reddit post recently about well, I don't want to say people, but one person making the Reddit post didn't like how casters were treating Redosin.
Yeah, he could have just added me if he wanted to.
Oh yeah, it's just CJ, isn't it? CJ is just roasting Redosin
Some people
again,
didn't like how CJ
Mate.
speaks about Redosin, Vitality Redosin. CJ speaks on him. What do you think, CJ?
I just think people need to grow up a little bit. Like we celebrate
real.
the highs, and we also have to comment on it. It would be the most boring esport if we didn't, bring up when people make mistakes and highlight them. If we just said, "Oh, but they're so good, it's so unlucky." It's just the, you have to understand the pressure, stuff like that. I know. I've been a professional. I've been at 4,000 lands. I know the pressure. I know the situation. But that's what happens when you put yourself in the spotlight. You're going to face scrutiny, you're going to face criticism, but you're also going to be celebrated when you do good stuff as well. I mean, Yummy Cheese Man made like a 15-minute montage of me missing open nets when I was playing. Like everyone, the meme is that I can't hit an open net. You just got to, it's the same with like the Ferro Airbus thing, and he turned it into his own. He made his creator code out of it and stuff. Like Radoshin as well, knowing him, talking to him, he's like the most upbeat like lad. He loves it. He's a larrikin. He loves the attention. He loves feeding into the crowd's energy and stuff. It's such a, I don't know, the Reddit pylon sometimes with that kind of stuff is silly to me. I think that like Redosin does make more mistakes than other people. I think the post was like, why don't we do that when Zen does it? We were laughing when Zen, like his own goal before, like it's rare, but when he does it, we're like, oh my God, that's hilarious. What is Zen doing?
Last season he had an own goal that was hilarious.
Yeah, remember the own goal? We were like, what the hell is he doing?
Goal.
The thing is, Redosin does it like once a series, and then we pointed out, and it was like, wow, they always just pile on Redosin. And it's like, well, it happens more often than not to him, but that's what makes him a great player, because, yeah, he's a bit chaotic. But I just hate when... I think it's just a bit of a pile on. And then on that thread was like, yeah, and Johnny and Thing were like talking about Rizex and they're being really mean, like saying how hard he hits the ball. It's like, what do people are just.
Well, listen,
I don't know.
Some people want. I mean, you can't please everyone in commentary. There's always going to be people who like it, like something like others who don't like it, and there's going to be some people who like one caster who don't like another one. That's to be expected. But yeah, so I guess some people just want the commentary to be super dry and serious all the time. That's fine if that's what they prefer, but I can guarantee you it's not going to be something you'll hear from me. I'm not going to do it because it would bore me to death. I don't want to bore myself to death. I want to enjoy, casting the games and try to, be analytical when the moment requires it. Try to be hype when the moment requires it. Try to, have a lighthearted laugh when it makes sense to do so. Just do what makes sense in the moment. Would it make sense, and would I expect CJ or any other caster to just burst out laughing at a Radosin own goal in a Worlds or major final or massive prestigious match when it's like incredibly tense? No, it wouldn't happen. They would that just wouldn't make sense in that situation, and nobody would do that. None of the casters are professional enough not to do that. But when it's just like if it's a Friday, Swiss, or
Vitality already made Worlds, and
if it's Vitality already
London.
made Worlds, or if they're just like winning a series, or if it's happening a lot. Sometimes there's occasional Radosin series where I've casted him, and I'm not lying, I'm on the edge of my seat every time he's going anywhere near the ball, because there's just something about the way that he's moving on the pitch. I'm
100%.
like, I am not comfortable watching this, and I go in his POV and I'm
you guys
every time he goes near the ball, I'm like, oh my goodness, this is terrifying, because he's like going for a ceiling pinch, and it could go absolutely anywhere. Like, I don't know where that's going. So like some players, they're on the ball, you're just like, you're watching them, you're just like, oh, this is so calm. I just feel like they know like everything is going perfectly for them. They can't do anything wrong. But yeah, there's been a couple times where I casted Radosin, and I've really enjoyed it because it's like a different experience from even regular Radosin, where it just feels like absolutely anything could happen at any moment, and he's on the face cam like getting really into it, and I don't know. What do you expect to do at that moment? I'm just like on the edge of my seat, and the
that
reactions
goes with
are real.
what John said in chat. He's like, half the time you pre-jump the mistakes with him, even if they don't happen. That's like my whole thing is I pre-jump everything because I'm like coming from a professional background. I can sort of I feel like I'm like maybe half a second ahead of what I guess usual casters would say. And when I am watching, sometimes, as you said with Radosin, I am thinking, what is he? What is that? Like, wrong. What is he doing? And it's not because I'm like, I see Radosin. It's just honestly, it's like what I'm watching. Other times he's absolutely peaking. We've seen some regionals, the first event, where he was absolutely clipping. No one was talking about, lol, Radosin's own goaling. We're like, oh my God, this is him. Here he is. Then other times he doesn't do it. I just think for the most part, people, you want boring series, or for me, I just want like maximum entertainment. I want to enjoy myself, and I'll analyze when I need to analyze. I'll have fun when I need to have fun. And as Johnny said, it's like feeling at the moment. And like going back to the Rizex thing, everyone was like, oh my God, that was the funniest series ever. And then after the Radosin thing, there's comments on the Reddit. They're going, oh yeah, and remember that time when Rizex was saying that was mean as well. When at the time everyone was like, that was so funny. But then it's you think about it and go, oh yeah, and actually they were doing this as well. Like, but in the moment, people are saying that was really fun. It was really entertaining. I think obviously there's a time for analysis. There's a time for entertainment. But gee whiz, if you wanted the same bland, boring casting for every series when there's nothing on the line or nothing's really happening, like, what are you doing? It's the same with the, I don't know if you saw Rizzo, but BDS had 99 shots in a series. I like just worked that out.
In a best of 7, I would
assume? In a best of 7.
They
had 99 shots.
Oh my God.
Like 3 games in, I was like, God, they've had a lot of shots. I kept bringing up. They had like 19 shots, 16 shots, 15 shots. And then we turned into a thing of like everyone in the chat was like trying to like, come on, they can get to their 100. Like they needed 14 in game 7 to get to 100. And it was kind of like a side goal for the game as well.
Side quest.
Because BDS had already made it. Endpoint couldn't make Worlds. It was just an exciting series to watch. Like BDS, obviously, they already locked in. They hadn't locked in Worlds, but they're locked in London. And so it was just like, an exciting series to watch. And we had a little side quest with the 99 shots. It's just like finding entertainment out of it. And everyone's like, oh my God, that was sick. Everyone's like spamming like 10 shots left, 9 shots left, 8 shots left. But then I guess you can't have your cake and eat it as well. There's always going to be people that are like, oh, that's too much. I'd rather them just not bring up mistakes and not do this. But then at the time,
some people just don't want any fun at all, I swear. Like some people don't want there to ever be any fun, and it has to all be super serious. And listen, there's going to be some people will do that more than others, but I can't promise you that it's always going to be super serious. Like if I find something I watch and when I'm casting funny, I'm going to react accordingly because it is funny to me. Mistakes
It's
will
just the
happen.
game.
Funny things will happen. Rocket League's it's such a fast-paced game. Funny things happen all the time. And I can promise you as well, like in real sports, if somebody's notorious for doing a particular thing and then it happens, you're going to notice it. You're going to talk about it. It's like it's not all players deserve the same kind of reaction in the same situations, and that doesn't just apply to funny situations like own goals. It could also apply to like this when a player starts air dribbling. Not every caster's reaction will be the same for the caster's reaction would not be the same for every player starting an air dribble from the same place, like air dribbling off their own back wall. Some players you're going to think, okay, this could be a goal right here. It's like a hyper mechanical player who could score this. Some players would be like, never seen him score from here. I'm not that excited, And the viewers as well. You don't believe me? Go watch a view party where somebody really wants a particular team to win. Listen to how terrified they are whenever the other team's best player gets the ball. If you want an example of that, go watch AppJack's reactions to, I watched FaZe versus Optic with him and Rise. Every time First Killer touched the ball, AppJack was terrified. He's like, why? No, not him. Because he's the best player on that team back then, FaZe. So if you're casting a match like that, First Killer picks up the ball in literally any position, you're gonna react like, okay, this could be a goal. You're gonna be hype about it. Whereas say one of the other guys gets the ball, it'll probably not like this. It's not personal to them. It's just you don't actually feel like they're gonna score from any position.
You're not threatened.
Okay.
Yeah.
I got two things here, and they actually both relate to John's messages in chat. And he says, okay, this one, it says big difference in Friday versus playoff matches for sure. I don't even think there's a difference between Friday matches and playoff matches. To me, like regionals all feel the exact same, but you can feel the difference in tension and in casting when it's a regional versus a major versus the world championship. Like like majors and worlds kind of feel the same. Yeah, to me at least. In terms of like pressure and all that stuff. So like if you guys are having laughs and goofs about Redosin, it's gonna be like limited down like a lot when it's actually a major or world championship. But like if he actually makes the mistake of like, oh no, he owned goal, you gotta call that out. Like I mean, obviously,
you have to.
I don't think John's questioning that. I'll just throw it out there, but you have to call it out. If he just slams one into the back of his net top left, you'd be like, no, that's the worst mistake you could have. You have to say that. Like,
oh no, Redosin with an uncharacteristic own goal. Shut up. Shut up. Everybody saw that coming. It's
but
like,
also,
don't even pretend.
There's a difference for me as well between people like, oh, they're trash. Like people, I hate people saying, oh, they're trashing on him. For me, it's like, trust me, I was this player. I was the Redosin of OCE.
That goes into my second message.
Yeah. There's a difference between trashing. For me, it's not trashing on Redosin. It's like creating, not creating a storyline, but creating it's like creating like a character, creating something that's like this guy can be the best or can be the worst. Yeah, it's giving life to a car on the pitch, and not everyone is a Zen. Not everyone's like, as Johnny said, on the ball, we're like, oh my god, he could 1v3 here. Like, not everyone's like that, because if everyone's like that, then it's boring. You need to have like your contrasting sort of players, contrasting personalities. And for me, the fact that Redosin sometimes own goals isn't, in my mind, when I'm commentating on it, like me trashing on him. I just think that's a part of the beauty of Redosin. Like, and I think that's what works for Vitality, is that you don't know what he's going to do. Like, so I don't think Alpha, sometimes they laugh about it. I know they do, because I've talked to Alpha about it.
They
trash on him, if you want to call it that. But they don't know what he's going to do. But that's what works for Vitality. I just think the fact that if we don't call it out and people consider that slander or trashing on someone when we do say, oh, he could do this because he's known for it, I just think it's like the part of the beauty of what Redosin is. You know what I mean? You
are 100% spot on. That's exactly what I'm getting at. But then also people in my chat are literally getting at what I was about to get into. Where Panaman says, what do you mean, Rizzo? I only saw positivity towards you. Didn't Rizzo own goal in his last series versus
Rizzo,
you?
look at us. This was us. We were the Redosins.
And this is John's message. He said, I think it's ultimately Rado's legacy as a legitimately good player gets overshadowed by the goofs, which can get annoying when it's used to trash him. Oh, look. I'm going to say it, and everybody's going to say Cope in chat, but I feel like I had some sort of, I don't want to say legacy, but I feel like I was a decent player, a pretty good player. I had a nice long career, and everything about my career is about me own goaling and me being
Demo
shit
chasing.
and me being garbage, only, a demo freak, whatever it is. Because that's just whatever is painted. It doesn't it creates that picture of like, that's what's interesting about the player. That's what makes it so
But that's the beauty
valuable.
of you, though. Do you know what I mean? Like, that's you embrace that. Like, I embraced it as well with
You're
my
not
own goal
that guy,
montages.
trust me, you're not that guy. Like that's what I mean. That's what makes it beautiful, you know?
You're not
Maybe
that
everyone's
guy.
different. I don't know. I guess, again, it could be contrasting between different cultures, different things like that. But for me, it's like, yeah, it's a part of who they are. It's a part of who I am. Like, I was like the own goal, the chaos, but it may be good, it may be bad at the same time. The open net misser. I think it's the beauty of Radosin as well. I don't think we should shy away from it, just because like it might come across as negative towards him. That's just my take anyway. I think it's just entertainment.
It would go too far
It's
if he
good.
wasn't given his flowers, but as far
Yeah.
as I'm aware, he is. Like, I don't think anyone's underrating him. Well, I don't think I think if anyone's underrating him, it's the community.
Yeah.
The whole job security Radosin meme. To me, it's a meme because a lot of people ask me at the
That is
midway
so
part of last
funny to
split.
me though.
It's a really funny. It's a funny joke. Like, oh, he's popping off because he job security is on the line. But
Job
to
security
me, it's a
Radosin.
joke because if you think about it, who is the next best French player? The next best player in the French community? Like, Radosin's head and shoulders above them. I don't think there is any danger to his role. And a lot of people asked me during the last split when Vitality were really struggling, and after the majors disappointing. Well, I mean, they didn't win it, so that's disappointing for Vitality. A lot of people asking me in my Twitch chat and even in person in Copenhagen, who do you think is going to replace Radosin? And I'm like, no one. I don't think anyone's going to replace Radosin. I think he's the best player for that team. I can't see anyone better than him being available or even being interesting to Vitality. So I don't think that if his job really wasn't on the line, it wouldn't be funny to me. But I don't think his job is on the line. So job security Radosin is funny, and maybe at the end of the season,
it's
who
just a
knows?
meme, and it just adds more character. And even like people saying that I'm mean to him or whatever. I think I literally said in I cast the world's finals game 1. I was like, this guy's the best first man in the world. We were pumping him
Yeah.
up because he was
He gets his
dominating
flowers,
like
yeah.
that Champ Sunday. So when he is playing well, like the first event, no one was clowning on Radosin in the first event. He was absolutely popping off. But when he has his moments, we're going to call out his moments and have fun with it. It's the same thing as someone said in chat with Jobless. I said, like, Jobless, they want employment. We're poking fun at the fact that their name's Jobless. You can look at that and go,
Yeah.
oh my God, they're making fun of the fact that they aren't employed, or they're making
Surely
fun of the
nobody's.
fact that they can't
Has
find
anyone
an org.
complained about that? Surely not.
Well, no, but you know what I mean.
That's
You can look at
ridiculous.
anything like that, like that's a negative way, or you can be like, that's adding to the, to the story of this team, which is the way I see it. Anyway, we've gone on for a while about it, but it just
Okay, yeah, we rambled a little bit. So I actually want to
I wanted to finish off
Okay,
that
okay,
thing
go
by
for it.
saying I don't think if Radosin ever in the future does, get benched or removed, I can absolutely promise you it is not going to be because a caster one time said, wow, Radosin own goals a lot. And it definitely isn't because the community were like, wow, Radosin own goals a lot. And then, Zen's reading Reddit in bed late on his phone one night, like, we need to bench Radosin. Yep. These guys are really onto something here. Like, it's just not it's not how it works. Like, the pros, they care what casters say, but only in the in things that casters say about them. I don't think pros really care about, and teams that orgs definitely don't care about what casters and the community says about their teammates and players. Players are, if a caster says that they're underperforming, the player might be upset at that caster, but I don't think the teammates are going to be watching it and be like, wait, he's right, we need to get rid of him. Never happens.
Yep. What's in that brewski? Are you feeling all good?
No, I just said anyway, I wanted to segue this into something a little different. There was actually a tweet recently, and I should have pulled it up beforehand, but Lethamyr actually said that we have two things, Lethamyr and then Pro Play. Or, I mean, sorry, Patreon questions. I don't know why I just said Pro Play. But Lethamyr is going back to Pro Play.
Head?
No, I said Pro Play. But Lethamyr said that he is going back to Pro Play. He actually wants to try to compete again. He wants to give it one more go. He said, starting next season, I'll be looking to seriously compete again in the RLCS, officially LFT, to grind during the very long offseason. I'll be pushing the top 100 leaderboards again. See you on the pitch. Handshake emoji. And I just want to know your guys' thoughts on that. Now, I don't even know necessarily about Lethamyr as a player, but to me, I think this guy's fucking insane.
Yeah, it's a long off season too. That's a lot of time practicing, a lot of time
No,
on
you
the
probably
grind.
just saw. I think you just saw a close Turbo Rizzo and Alpha Cat part of qualifying, and he's like, honestly, this might be worth another one
Nah, he
split.
saw
Another one
Stewie 2K come back from 5 years. It's been 5 years since he played on LAN, and he comes back for G2, subs in for the Counter-Strike, and wins IEM Dallas. So he probably saw that and said, hang on a minute. If you can come back in Counter-Strike, you can come back in Rocket League. So I think that's what he's doing.
So yeah.
Do you think Lat's gonna go to SSA or something? Do you think he's about to like pull a fast one
No,
on us
I don't
and, like,
think
have
so.
it- You don't think so?
No, I think he's gonna
I
stay
don't think so either.
yeah, stay in NA. He's gonna chill there. But Micah said, do we think he's really actually serious? Like, that's good, but man, that's some time. I mean, not even to your second question, but do I think he's serious? Like, it's one thing to be like what I did and be like, hey, I want to play in this random Master Regional #2 and play with the team, whatever, and grab Alpha and Turbo. But it's another thing to say it at the start of the off season, where that's where I feel like it's actually serious and insane.
Yeah, I think he's serious.
I don't think he's insane because I like think he's good or bad or anything. I think he's insane to go from content to pro play. I mean,
Has he
it just
expressed?
seems, it just seems worse.
me.
But hey, if he's got the passion, then so be it.
Has he expressed any kind of? I know some Rocket League content creators have been kind of slowing down on the content with lack of ideas over the years, but Leth, being the very creative map maker that he is, never seems to run out of ideas. Has he had any kind of disdain for content, or is he just wanting to try pro play content? Is he what's the angle here? Anyone know in chat?
It could
There's
be that
definitely a lot of
angle.
content to be made out of pro play. Maybe
be
he's trying to
pro
do a little bit of that.
Pro
Could have,
so weird to
yeah,
say.
he could have seen the Turbo's cheeks, and Leth did that with when he was with SSG, didn't he? They did the
I think so.
what did they call it? Scuffed Station Gaming, wasn't that?
Yeah, Scuff Station Gaming. Yeah.
That was it? Yeah. So he's done it
Sounds
before,
familiar.
and he might be looking around the grounds. As I said, Stewie could have inspired him. What also could have inspired him, I saw. He probably doesn't watch. Again, I'm thinking about League, but Cadril, who's he's the biggest. If you watch League, you know who Cadril is. He's the, I guess, the Johnny boy of League.
Oh,
If
that's
Johnny
like
decided
such
to not.
a disrespectful thing to say to Cadril.
If Johnny Boy decided to announce that he's not going to cast, actually, I think Cadril is still casting LEC. But anyway, Cadril, he does watch parties. He's an analyst, former pro player though, so I guess he isn't Johnny. He could be me. But he's decided to, or he's questioning whether he wants to team up. I don't know if you guys heard this earlier. He wants to team up with the Bows and another guy, Nemesis.
Really?
I think, and go and compete in like one of the EU, like UK comps. Basically, like the weakest. I think it might be the UK comp that's like really weak, and thinks that he might be able to get a spot and then qualify. Or they're gonna buy their own spot into it, just with their creator money. Make a team, so not an org, but just literally pay for their own spot and then stream all their scrims, stream all their games, and then try and actually qualify through to like, I don't know how the whole qualifiers work, but like into the EU, like not the LEC, but like sort of a subsection of it, and just make content out of it. So that could be like a Lethamyr, content creator, former pro.
That's so sick. I love that actually.
Yeah, it's really cool.
So he's like, he wants to go back into jungling and like, anyway, we got to the league, but he wants to teach the Bows how to play like pro top. Anyway, it would be funny if that happens. So maybe Leth's trying to like, create a bit of content out of it. I think that's the only angle for him. He's a very content focused type of person.
Yeah, I guess he could take pro play seriously, but also just do a bunch of content. There's nothing. Wrong with
like
that.
try and do as well as possible. Be competitive in that way, but make it have content focus, which I think is something we always talk about. This a lot of players should be doing that anyway, because content is a lot more transferable of a skill than being a pro player. Like if you can make good content in Rocket League, you can turn that into content in other things. Whereas if you're a good pro in Rocket League, it doesn't really translate directly into anything. Any other type of game. Rocket League's like on an island when it comes to gameplay. So pro players should be making more content generally, and just I think more content out of their runs. People would watch just I think there just needs to be more experimentation. Like if some pro just like documented their entire year of RLCS, ups and downs, pre-match, kind of like vlogged it, turned it and like got an editor, put all of the highlights in from the weekends. That's like absolute content goldmine
That's
that
peak.
nobody's really done before for themselves. Orgs have done it. Orgs do stuff like that, but players could do that. A lot of players already have big enough followings to do that, and some players would blow up even from nothing in following, so they did it.
All right, we are gonna swap over to some Patreon questions. I got one. I actually asked the fellas to pre-fire a couple of these, and we got one from Spross here. It says, with KC not qualifying for London, is this the first LAN we can say not all of the best quote unquote best teams are going? If not, what other LAN in the open era can we say this about? Do you get first and foremost, do you think we don't have the best teams going to this LAN?
Well, I mean, yes, KC could win if they were at London. They could win it. So in that sense, yes. Not all of the. Well, I guess is that what's meant by best? Is every team who could win? Because V1 could win. I guess Worlds last year. I think it's a long shot. I don't think they were at anywhere near the EU level when it comes to consistency.
I think
but
also the last major
that was COVID.
We didn't even have last major. We didn't have the best teams, at least for NA. I don't think the best teams were there.
Yeah, I don't think the best teams. SSG last time were, I think, probably better than LG and probably better than.
But we
LG
weren't
as
like
well.
missing out on a potential winner of the event. You know,
this is the highest profile team that's missed ever. I think it's the highest profile team. Like the strongest team to ever miss an event is definitely KC this time.
He did say open era, but I would also throw a G2 in season 8.
Yeah, the G2 season 8 was a pretty strong.
When you got demoted?
Missed.
Almost. We played in the tournament to not get demoted.
So you were almost in the RLRS.
Almost is the keyword.
How'd you go in that? Did you 4-0?
I don't know. I remember it being easy though, so probably.
Hey, respect to you. That just keeping out of that. Just keep from falling through the cracks. Just spreading yourself over that drain pipe. So you don't fall in.
Spider-Man holding both sides of that whatever that was with his web. Keep myself in there.
That's.
You know what I mean?
Adam Bombs asked, what did you guys think? And this is, I guess, for me and Johnny. Asked, what do you guys think of the Spaceman EU casting clip? I think that he tries to talk like I'm the Australian version of Peter Griffin. I will say sometimes when he talks, I'm like, hang on, there's a bit in that. All right. When he goes, his only catchphrase or what do you call it, like trigger line for him is, "He's the man, your magician, and when he does that, it's actually not too bad. But then other times he just sounds like the Australian Peter Griffin. His Stumpy impression's pretty funny. His Johnny impression, I don't know what you think about it, Johnny, but it's horrendous.
It's very bad. Well, see, the thing is, like, I don't have a stereotypical, Scottish accent for. I guess most of the Scottish accents you'd hear in America would be like on TV or in movies, like the Scottish character. So I don't sound anything like that, default Scottish accent. But I think he's trying to do a default, like a default Scottish accent, and it's terrible. Even that's not very good. I've got to be honest. It's awful. At times it sounds Irish, at times it sounds South African, and at times it sounds like Indian. I don't know what I'm listening to. It's like a real mixture. But yeah, not very good. But yeah, default Scottish is not an advantage. It's not a good smart accent to have in esports commentary because people don't understand it.
Give us your Scottish if you're just around fellow Scottish people.
See, it's actually very hard to do. I can't really do that. Like just it wouldn't be the same because I don't know how to describe it. I kind of pick up on things people say, ways people talk. But yeah, when I'm with other Scottish people, I do sound more Scottish. But I maybe we'll try and get a record. Maybe we can record me in a real life scenario. You can hear the comparison. But sometimes it comes out more.
Just jump the corners like, oh, really? It's just Johnny around the boys. Just he's like, I think I might sound a little bit more Scottish. Like, what's going on?
Well, it's bad because my girlfriend's lived in Scotland now for 8-9 nine years, I think, because she was in university in Scotland. She's from Bulgaria, has uni in Scotland. She's lived in Glasgow for 9 years, and she still doesn't understand Glaswegians talk. Like I have to tell her, and not just her. It's like all of the people who moved here to study don't understand people from this part of Scotland talking. When you just hear a conversation in the street, they're like, what are they saying? And I have to tell them because it's so different. It's barely English. So that's why it would not be smart to have a Glaswegian accent and try and work online. No, because nobody actually knows what you're saying, which is not good when you're trying to communicate. But yeah, it's very funny though. Sometimes because it can sound quite threatening. We are very talkative and they'll just be arguing in the street, and it sounds like there's maybe an altercation going on, and I'll have to explain. Oh no, they're just arguing about whose turn it is to do the dishes. It's just getting really heated for some reason. And it sounds like something's about to go down, but no, they're just talking about something mundane.
I love it. I love the Scottish accent. Johnny needs to be drunk to be authentically Scottish. It brings out the true accent. Yeah, I think that kind of happens with everyone.
I think that's true with everybody, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What else do
Hold on,
we
I got
have?
one. I got one from Hawkeye. And I feel like this is a top 3 Chalkedcast Patreon question because it's like an either or. It's like a would you rather, if you will.
Oh no.
But this one from Hawkeye, he says, what would you choose if RLCS presented you with 2 options? Qualifier number 6 would be a regional LAN, or a last chance open qualifier LAN for a final Worlds spot.
Oh. That's tough because they're both good options, aren't they? I think I would go with the second one. I would say the last chance qual, because it would be international, which wins. International LAN beats regional LAN for me, but regional LANs would be cool as well.
Last chance qual will be cool. I think the content around that as well. You could interview everyone like there's one spot. There could be I don't know. I want to say 100 teams. Could be like 40 teams or 30 teams, 20 teams, whatever it is. Or it's just the next seed down from every region goes over or something. I don't know how you can do it.
No,
I'd
last
like to
chance
just
qual.
be open.
Well,
last chance qual is open. It has to be open. All the content teams are going to be there. It's like when you watch like a marathon on TV, and there's like the guys who are there to really try and win the thing, and then you just got a guy dressed as a giraffe. It's like, yeah, I'm gonna run it backwards actually.
There's a guy on stilts.
It's like
that's basically what it would be. We'd be interviewing like all the content. Yeah, we're interviewing all the content teams. Are like, what are your expectations? Yeah, it would just be great. It'd be
I think a regional LAN would be cool, but you'd have to change the format. I don't think you'd just say like qualifier number 6 is suddenly a regional LAN. It'd have to be some sort of extra points culminating qualifier. They used to do it in OCE for RLCS back in the day. We went to Auckland in season 7, maybe season 8, I think it was, where the top 4 teams travel over for the LAN, and then you play a double elim LAN to qualify. So there's no points or anything. So we used to do that back in the day. It was pretty cool. We also did in PAX. I qualified season 4. We had it in PAX Melbourne, which is like a dream out. You guys know what PAX is. You have PAX West or whatever, don't you? So we had to land there for that. So yeah, it could be cool, but you'd have to change the format. Last chance qual though would be awesome. What else do we have? Oh, Crimson Rose asks, is Gen G going out in the top 8 a worrying sign for the team? So they got Coach Roberto Gamizo as well with the Coach Chrome. Or do we expect them to bounce back off that top 8? I know they were tweeting. I think First Killer tweeted something like they're a bit confused, not happy with how they're going at the moment. What are your thoughts on Gen G?
I think there's a lot of people blaming coaching. Actually, a lot of people were just like bring Alu back. Basically immediately once their results have shown to actually answer the question, do I think they're in danger? I mean, I think like one bad finish isn't that bad, but I think they've kind of consistently been and that's a little worrying. I think to me, G2 is like the only NA team that's like I don't want to say a favorite, but like a contender. Well, a contender implies that nobody else can win, I feel like.
Yeah. Well, that's the question, I guess. Can Gen G still win? Because they were definitely a contender at Copenhagen at the event.
It's definitely it's more than possible. There's definitely still a chance that Gen G can win, but I feel like it's like much smaller than G2's chances. And I
That's
mean,
interesting.
it's also like 3 weeks away or so. A lot can change in 3 weeks. I think G2 will still be up to that, but Gen G can definitely change a lot within that time, and they'll be able to scrim a lot of the teams and all that stuff. So, I mean, we literally already saw it last major. General Mage end up winning it. I don't think many people expected them to win it, so it's more than possible that Gen G can just come through and surprise everybody.
It's just a question of, okay, how good do we think OG are? Because OG eliminated Gen G 4-2 in Regional 5, and it was 2 overtimes in game 5 and 6 to win it. So if we think OG have really stepped it up, then Gen G's fall off is not, I think, as bad as it looks. And I've got to say as well, Moist played so well against Gen G. Moist actually looked phenomenal in that last event of the season.
That was hype.
In NA.
I love that. It was a show.
Yeah, Aris and 5up were they looked insanely good, and Andy's just so good, so consistent, really underrated player all time, I think. So yeah, that performance from Moist, I thought they were very impressive, and they again looked quite strong against Rebellion, at least out of the gate. Then Rebellion took over. So yeah, Moist and OG, they look pretty good against them, and yeah, Gen G are a better team. They should still be able to beat OG and Moist, even if Moist and OG are playing well, but I think it was a combination of their opponents playing exceptionally well and Gen G slipping a little bit. I don't think they should overthink it though too much. They've got time.
I agree.
I don't think there's anything to worry about. They're still all very talented players. They won the first event of the split. They haven't lost to G2 in like forever, by the way. It's really weird because Gen G have lost to other teams. They lost to MAT in Swiss, Shopify Rebellion in Swiss, Moist in bracket, OG in bracket. They're actually still in a 4-win streak against G2 though. G2 have not beaten Gen G. G2 have not beaten a single RLCS like contender this split. Like RLCS LAN winning contender. Because the only other contender is Gen G in their own region. G2 didn't beat them this split. G2 just won 2 events without playing Gen G once. It's really strange.
It's pretty nice
actually.
for them.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to turn this into like G2 discussion because that could open a can of worms. But I do think it still leaves one question mark about G2 because they've looked really good against the rest of the competition, but they've actually not had to play Gen G, who has beaten them 4 times in a row in either of the 2 events that they've won. So it's still a question mark there for me about G2. Are they just really good at beating teams below them? Need to see them play someone on their level again, because they didn't have to play Gen G, the only team who I perceive to be on their level in NA.
Quick one. This one's from Kale in chat. He just says, "How do we think Gen G will shape against Oxygen if they match up in London?"
How do we think? Sorry, what was the team matchup against?
Gen G will shape up against Oxygen. Yeah.
I'd take Oxygen.
Yeah, same. Right now, I'd take Oxygen, but
Yeah,
I think it would be very close. I would say Game 5 or Game 7, depending on the series length. I think it would be very close.
Well, there you have it. I guess Gen G's losing.
But Oxygen I think Oxygen are really strong. I think Oxygen, Gentlemates, Vitality, BDS are all really, really strong. So yeah, I would probably predict Gen G to lose to all of them right now, but I don't think it would be one-sided. I think Gen G would have a chance in any of those matchups. I think Gen G have got a chance against anyone.
100%.
I'd be super curious to see them play G2 again, because G2 have lost 4 straight to Gen G. Might still have a bit of a mental block there, depending on how practice is going against them, how scrims are going against them.
Boys, are we rifting?
I think it's time to hop on the rift. CJ's getting antsy. You want to hop in that mid lane. So if you guys,
do they want to see it? Should we stream?
I mean, you can stream it. I don't care if you stream it. If the boys want to see it, let us know. Let me know in chat right now. CJ
Let me know.
should stream
No.
Summoner's Rift League of Legends.
Okay, never mind.
Immediate no.
If you guys missed any part of this episode, please be sure to check it out on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, and Spotify. And be sure to check out the Patreon, patreon.com/chalkcast. We release bonus episodes weekly. So if you guys are into that, if you guys love the Chalked crew, be sure to check that out as well. I think maybe 51.
Oh yeah, it was
51. Yeah. Did you
51.
wait? Did you sort that out? Oh, we're talking about that on stream. Did you sort out the episode 51? Did we get that?
Didn't sort that out yet.
Well, 51 will be
Oh,
coming
no, I
out
think-
when
I
Rich
think
gets
50
something uploaded.
52 went out. 51 is coming.
Okay,
Something like that.
which is meant to be 50. So we're in a little bit of a look. We're waiting. It's a
something
great
like that.
episode though when it comes out.
Anyway, there's
It's-
like
well-
50 something episodes out on the Patreon. So if you subscribe right now, you can watch 50 bonus episodes right now. $5.
Every
Last
great
one,
content.
the most recent one is a world cuisine tier list, which we actually didn't all agree on. We had to kind of
Believe it
agree
or
to
not.
disagree
Oh,
on some of
that was up for debate, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, that's the most recent one.
Controversial.
But we will wrap up here. Thank you guys so much for listening, so much for watching. We appreciate you guys, and we will see you all soon on CJ's League of Legends stream.
Or maybe not.
Or maybe
We'll
not.
see.
Goodbye.
No one wanted it. Bye.